Deli edition.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Durant's comments about the uncertain value of under 6'2" guards in today's NBA strike at a truth that teams like the New York Knicks we can't afford to ignore. As the league continues to emphasize length, versatility, and switchability across all positions, Durant's words actually serve as both a warning and a roadmap we're already on. The modern NBA isn't just about talent anymore. It's about adaptability to the demands of the NBA postseason. So for the Knicks, who are trying to build a perennial contender around Jalen Brunson and our current versatile supporting cast, the future hinges not only on maintaining our current core, but on investing wisely in the next generation of guards who meet the league's evolving standards. That's why Dadiet and Pate are so critical to our long-term vision. So what Durant did was he created a doctrine that size matters at the guard spot. When Durant implied that the traditional small guard is fading from starter level prominence, it wasn't a diss towards stars like Brunson, stars like Trae Young, or even Van Vliet, who I know. But rather, it was a recognition of how often those players become defensive liabilities in the playoffs, where wings get hunted and big guards take over. In the NBA Finals, you rarely see teams leaning on undersized guards to carry both ends of the floor. The further teams go, the more their smallest player tends to be 6'4" or taller. The league is morphing into a switch-heavy, length-driven environment, where the smallest wings are taller than the point guards used to be. Brunson is the exception, not the rule. He succeeds because of elite footwork, unmatched poise, and a scorer's mentality that becomes hardened through the playoff battles. But New York can't count on exceptions to remain sustainable. At least not long term. The team must plan for a future in which guards like Brunson need complementary partners who are bigger, longer, and more dynamic defensively. This is where Dadiet and Pate come in. Listen, Dadiet is 6'8". He's a French swingman we drafted, but he's a prototype for modern NBA basketball. Although he's raw, he brings a fluid athleticism, the ability to handle the ball in transition, and potential as a multi-positional defender. His physical tools already place him in the positionless category. He could easily defend 1 through 4, as long as he has that proper development. Dink Pate, the American guard who chose the G League Ignite over college, he's a 6'7" playmaker with a guard's instincts and a wing size. He's an unconventional talent, a big guard who thrives with the ball in his hands, able to initiate offense, able to navigate pick and rolls, able to distribute with vision. His height gives him a natural advantage. He can see over smaller defenders and isn't as easily targeted on switches. So these two young prospects that we have aren't just interesting projects. They're the Knicks' bridge to the future. They represent the kind of backcourt versatility that wins in today's NBA. So investing in them now means aligning the franchise with the direction basketball is clearly headed in. That's our reality. We can't stay small forever. The New York Knicks are currently led by a point guard phenom, Jalen Brunson, arguably one of the most dynamic guards in the league, despite standing at just 6'2". But around him, we need to evolve. Josh Hart, McBride, all have shown moments of brilliance, but none scream future All-Star. And while the current guard room gets by on toughness and IQ, our team still struggles in big playoff moments where length wins possessions. We need bigger switchable guards who can relieve Brunson on defense and offer another ball handling threat when teams trap or blitz us. Dadiet and Pate, they can do that. Imagine a backcourt of Brunson and Pate, with Pate guarding the more difficult perimeter assignment while initiating some offense. or Dadiet rotating on a red hot wing in the playoffs, using his 7-foot wingspan to smother shooting windows. Those options simply don't exist on today's version of our team. That's why the long-term blueprint, if we have patience now, it will pay dividends later. Rose has built a culture of competitiveness and continuity already. But long-term success in the NBA requires succession planning, especially at the guard spots. Investing in Dadiet and Pate now means giving them real minutes, real responsibility, and a real runway. They shouldn't be stashed on the end of the bench or hidden in Westchester. Their growth needs to be intentional, with the same developmental support that turned McBride into a dependable rotation piece, and Hart into a core leader. That doesn't mean handing them starting roles tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. But it does mean designing, as we did, Summer League, G League, and eventual NBA minutes around their skill set. It means placing them in meaningful pick and roll reps, giving them defensive assignments, letting them learn through real competition, not garbage time. If the Knicks do that, we're going to have two players in our system who can not only replace, but elevate the team's identity in a few years. That's how dynasties are built. Not just by having stars, but by constantly developing replacements who fit the team's evolving needs. That's some OKC type ish. Fit both the modern and then fit the trend. Both Dadiet and Pate also fit key modern NBA concepts. Switchability. Both can guard multiple positions. Dadiet especially has the tools to be a disruptive wing as a defender in a switch-heavy system. Pate, with his size, won't get targeted like small traditional guards that KD is talking about. And then secondary playmaking ability. Pate can serve as a second initiator next to Brunson, whoever the Knicks build around. Dadiet, if he improves his handle, could become a big wing facilitator, something all teams covet. And let's not talk about transition. Both excel in the open court. Their speed and their length give the Knicks much needed athleticism and in transition. And that's an area that currently we lack. But the most important piece is the positional size, perhaps the most important aspect. These are 6'7" and 6'8" players who can dribble, who can pass, who can shoot. That's the future. And if we have them in our squad, talk about the global impact. Dadiet from France, Pate with his G League Ignite background. That'll bring international and alternative pipeline appeal to us already. In the global NBA, teams that find and nurture these kinds of prospects, we build global fan bases. And then we open up new recruiting paths. The Knicks, who haven't had a serious international star since Kristaps, we could reclaim that international relevance with Dadiet. Meanwhile, Pate's non-traditional route reflects a new wave of players choosing development over college fame. And that's a boldness that fits New York's energy. So I'm going to give him credit where credit is due. Durant's warning is our opportunity. Kevin Durant wasn't criticizing Jalen Brunson when he questioned the premium value of sub-6'2" guards. He was diagnosing a league-wide shift. And for the Knicks, the challenge is to be on the right side of that shift. Brunson will still be our superstar. He can still lead us deep into May and June. But for our future, our sustainability as a contender depends on grooming long, dynamic guards who can complement and eventually replace the current core. That's why investing in Pacôme Dadiet and Dink Pate is not a luxury, it's a necessity. They embody everything that the modern game demands: length, playmaking, defensive versatility, and untapped upside. And if we were smart, we'll treat them not as projects, but as future pillars of a franchise that's already ready to thrive in a post-small guard NBA. What do you say? Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there is no struggle, there's no progress. But also remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here at Knicks Deli, baby, everybody eats. I'm your boy Shia, and I'm out. Peace.